said if I was a reaver, I'd spin absurd ways and play absurd games. Mostly on Thursdays. It's called wordplay, wordplay. If I were a reaver, I'd spin absurd ways and play absurd games. Mostly on Thursdays. Wordplay, wordplay. Hey, my name is MissConception. I get by, I'm a rep. You be fly, let's connect, stand by. Bet, living life, no regrets. Making love on request by request. Just ask on mic check. Now we kicking it, fixing it, all done up with respect. You taking notes, I'm taking nothing but progress until we ready for the rest of humanity to rise out of insanity. Or where we're going, where we've been sent. Set free, paying heaven's rent. Between you and me, we got a big bang to set. We about to show up, blow up, grow up, express. This less is more concept. Get fresh like a suit that's pressed. KC, I wrote the text. When it comes to being blessed, and people like to underestimate this cause and affectionate state. Pause and reflection game. We be playing with sun's rays, giving thanks and praise. I like to say, if I was a reaver, I'd spin absurd ways and play absurd games. Mostly on Thursday. It's called wordplay, wordplay, play. Step it up, use your balance. It's a talent, let it hit you like a mallet. And while you may not think it relevant, you can bet someone else already be selling it out like a crowd. Now you acting all proud, excuse me. Was it you who non-believed when my name was deemed misconceived? See, yeah, you need me to blame, I'm miscontained. All caught up in constrainment, slaving away at this game plan, dropping names till it's arraignment. Still we craving rearrangement where we can respect one another without all this estrangement. Brother, you gonna be my new haven saint. Real player, even out the exchange, game changer. Yeah, you can be your own savior. You don't have to be a player. Yeah, you can be your own savior. A reaver, might spin absurd ways and play disturbed games mostly on Thursday. It's called wordplay, wordplay, wordplay. If I were a reaver, I'd spin absurd ways and play disturbed games mostly on Thursday. It's called wordplay, wordplay. Well, I digress. We about to show up, blow up, grow up, express. This less is more concept. Get fresh like a suit that's pressed. KC, I wrote the text. When it comes to being blessed, some people like to underestimate this cause and affectionate state. It's a game changer. Yeah, you can be your own savior.
And that was Reverb by MissConception. And we have MissConception on here right now for a live interview. Welcome to the show.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Definitely. It's been a great pleasure of mine to be able to play your music. It's very unique and something I really enjoy, and I think a lot of other people do. But for anybody who has not heard of any of your music, could you describe what it's like?
Sure. So I've been writing poetry and spoken word most of my life, but since college, since about 2008, have I been putting the spoken word to beats, and I sort of evolved into the hip hop artist that I would call myself today. I'm an activist, I am a performance artist, and I love everything about hip hop. Going back to the roots, it was not just a style of music, but a way to dance, a way for people to express themselves visually through painting and the way they dressed. And I really relate to that and have sort of made it my own. A lot of my music is spiritual, emotional, some of it is silly, but I really try and just be real honest with my lyrics, and I work with all different producers and beat makers, so there's different sounds in all of the albums that I have put out.
Definitely. I like that you said some of them are silly. I have listened to a few of those, and I think when people are able to kind of have such a wide range of what they can do with their music, I really love that aspect of your music. Is there anybody that you could sort of reference to kind of describe maybe your style?
Sure. I always tell people that if you put Ani DeFranco and Jurassic 5 together, you get a misconception. Those are two groups that have influenced me before I even really knew that I wanted to make music. Ani DeFranco is just such an amazing writer and activist. And then Jurassic 5, I just fell in love with that sound and remember in like middle school trying to memorize the lyrics. And then much later in my life, I was like, oh, I really liked that even before I knew that I liked it. So Shali Tuna is an amazing writer, and those are some people I really respect.
Brilliant. And so could you tell us how you got into music? Has it always been like that, or did something happen to really get you into the music?
Sure. I mean, so much of my creative path has been by accident, and I always say that the most brilliant creativity happens when you don't even mean for it to. As I mentioned, I was in college. I was writing poetry. Mostly, I started taking poetry classes to avoid the British literature classes. I was getting a journalism degree, and the poetry electives were obviously right up my alley. As I started doing more slam poetry and spoken word and realizing how serious people were taking their work, I started memorizing more and really trying to tell a story and present a delivery rather than just recite the poem. I realized that putting it to music was the ultimate challenge, that as a white Jewish girl from Kansas, to try it and become a hip hop artist was something that felt so valuable. Like there was so much respect that came with that, but also it felt like a really good use of my creative energy to be able to deliver a message about something that I cared about and have fun doing it, to interact with people. Music took poetry to a two-way communication, being on stage, being able to interact with the audience. So it's just really always been evolving. I met D. Will and some other producers 10 years ago who said, okay, well, let's make an album. Let's try and put some of these words to music. And it just has been unfolding since then.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. And you did mention earlier about spirituality and also that you were Jewish. How has this affected your style and your poetry and the music that you've been creating?
Sure. I always tell people that I'm an open source spiritualist. So while I was raised Jewish, I think that there's one religion, if anything, and that could be art. It's up to every individual, of course. But for me, creativity has really become the focal point of feeling connected to other people or to the divine, if you will. Mm-hmm. I read a Kabbalistic book a long time ago that said God is a verb. And that has been something that has always resonated with me. I have a song called God is a Verb, too. But so I've, again, just tried to be really honest in my music and my lyrics and where I come from and how I got there, and letting people know that it's okay to do it your own way has always been a really strong message in my work.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. I love that. And I think we played a song earlier. It was called Insomniac Olympics. And I think that also said something about God as a verb.
That's the song, yeah. That's the blockhead beat that I wrote this sort of Kabbalistic rap to.
Cool. And the Kabbalah it has something to do with the Jewish tradition, right?
Sure. Kabbalah is the study of wisdom, of esoteric information. It's something that I barely even begin to pretend to understand, but it is also the energy that comes with studying some of that. I have found with my spiritual friends who collect crystals and with people who do Reiki and meditation, I've found this similar sort of focal point in all of these different places. And so that's why I was really drawn to Kabbalah from the beginning. As a woman under 40, technically I'm not supposed to be able to study it. So there's not really a whole lot of people to ask. But as I mentioned, that book, God is a Verb, really jumped out of a bookshelf for me about 10 years ago also, and has been sort of my book. If I had to name a book, that is one that I carry with me always and might reference if I were inclined.
Mm-hmm. So could you describe a little bit more about like how is God a verb? It's just something that I would like to understand a little bit more.
Sure. So in Judaism specifically, there are 3 commandments that we are supposed to be, that gives us our purpose. It's studying the Torah, and the biggest one is doing acts of kindness. So these acts of kindness come with the most value if they are random, and that is said to just do very good things for your soul. They're called doing mitzvot or mitzvahs. So God being a verb, that reflects doing these acts of kindness for ourselves, for our families, for strangers, but really just living what you feel is most important to being okay with yourself as a person, as an artist, whatever your job is that you choose. It's being kind to everybody, spreading that kindness, and being honest, I think.
Very beautiful. And while you were becoming a musician, kind of making that transition from poet to poet/musician, where did you ever listen to Modest Yahoo? Was he any kind of inspiration for you? Because I know he started
Sure.
out as Jewish as well.
Yeah, I love Modest Yahoo. I've seen him many times and spoken with him a few times, and he is definitely somebody who paved the way and then was not afraid to say, you know what, this whole thing isn't really working. I'm going to go over here and do this and keep rapping. I heard him speak one time at a synagogue, and he was kind of getting grilled on why aren't you super religious? And I heard you're not eating kosher. And he was like, look, I travel the world performing. Sometimes I do a show on the Sabbath. Sometimes, for the most part, he said he keeps like vegan, kosher, but sometimes he has a hamburger. And he just made a point to say that he doesn't feel like he should be judged for making the choices that he does, because that's, he's not judging himself. Why should others? And I thought that was a really great point for him to make that stuck with me.
Very cool. All right. Would you like to play another song for everybody?
Sure. One track I really like is called Epiphany, and that is off my Ostentation album.
Cool. Let's go ahead and play that.
Thank you.
I walk a fine line, straddling both sides, and sometimes it divides, and other times it coincides with the divine's I and I walk the line between mainstream and crime scene, rusted clean, busted sheen at the bittersweet seams. Calm before the storm is the norm these days. Nobody prays. Well, we waste away our days on TV displays, while gamma rays all infiltrate our shade with cancer on the brain. And just exactly who is to blame? Would you explain this to me? Do we even think about she, our Mother Earth, as we ride our SUVs across her precious dirt, wondering what is she worth? Let alone when we park in Rome, leave it running free, so we can come right back to our fresh AC, staying cool. Shopping from the Whole Foods pool, selling half the product for twice as much to fools. So what exactly do our schools teach these days when we can't cross-pollinate education with praise, all caught up with minimum wage? But there's no lifetime guarantee on this war we've waged. We must be the change we wish to see in this Green sea of opportunity is clear to see. This occupation's all about being free to go forth into your one true being. A mic check with your girl MissConception. Uncover up your eyes, open eyes, expect respect. It's not an optional cause. All these WikiLeaks and media freaks outweigh the laws. I'll admit IRS don't make legit sense. I confess, yes, I too am ignorant when it comes to politics. We don't got time for this. We just make the rules up as we go. It's legit. You wanna hit, breathe it in real deep. Let your soul flow free, let it seep into your skin. It's sink or swim. Environmental totalitarianism. Being better at being human. You know we got a garden to grow, solar panels to install, maybe go all out, biofuel by fall. Who knows what exactly this paradigm will shift, but if you breathe it in deep, you might get a nice whiff of what we cooking up a storm. Dish it out a little late, now and never is the weather, better occupy your plate. Cause if you are what you eat, we should all be afraid to speak. No more fast food, I want free food. And I'm not trying to be rude, but yes, I've copped an attitude and it is coming on soon. We got no time to lose, news flash. Keep your cash and your gas, yes. I don't wanna do what I've been told. I don't wanna fit inside this mold. No, I don't wanna roll your way. I don't wanna buy your hamburgers, I don't wanna play your games. Instead we gonna get Bella a vibe tribe way, and we got something to say. And yeah, you know we here to stay. It's a group effort towards enlightenment. I think I'll straddle this line for a bit. Take another hit, breathe it in real deep, let it flow free. You know, just cause we invented the wheel so longly ago doesn't mean we gotta try and spin it constantly. So making it straight up as we go along. And I never thought it would come this far. Now we trust in the path, put out our palm extended to catch what's up for grabs. But don't get mad when what you want don't want you back. And this is just a little snack of what's to come. Lick your lips, y'all, I ain't done. See, I'ma take you by the tip of your tongue, pull you right out straight through your belly button. You like this feeling, we be feeling it a little bit more. Cause it's time to report, we're coming straight through the front door. Taking corporate down hard, yeah, at least we're good sports. On course, outsource, we are the tribe of vibe. Here to remind you it's a good time to be alive. Actively trying to find unprovoked spirit wherever we can hear it. You near it? Mother Earth is our deadline. You ready to sign? Dotted line, no fine print. It's a group effort towards enlightenment. I think we'll straddle this line for a bit. Take another hit, breathe it in real deep. Let your soul flow free. It's sink or swim. Here we go again. So I'ma take you to the next episode. Like you wanna know the truth, say okay, go. We on a high road, it's a fly road to love. Hip-hop is a lifestyle and I'ma grow it like a shrub. Bust it out a little bud, take it straight to the lungs. No more twiddling your thumbs. It's time to stand up where you come from. And you know, it won't be long before this fine line we're walking won't exist anymore. It's called balance, and there's this alleged force, galactic alignment in store right around the corner. 2012, it's probably what you came here for. And it's exciting, and I'm inviting you all to be a part of this intelligent design. You feel me sign, I am of sound mind with a body of light. I am of sound mind with a body of light. I am of sound mind with a body of light, ready and willing for our souls to take flight. We are of sound mind with a body of light. We are of sound mind with a body of light. We are of sound mind with a body of light, ready and willing for our souls to take flight.
That was Epiphany by MissConception, who we have on call right now. Hello.
Hello.
So,
Hello.
Could you talk a little bit about this song? I know Papadozzi also has a song called Epiphany. I'm not really sure what that word means exactly.
Epiphany. An epiphany is when you get this surge of information where you connect the dots, maybe might be synchronistic, it might be serendipitous, it might just be that you realized that something you ate was causing something else, or that someone you know knows your mother. So that is an epiphany. This song specifically was about being a misconception, being on both sides. The beginning is I walk the line between mainstream and crime scene. So again, being caught between where I come from and the culture that I'm trying to represent here, that being hip hop. And the end was actually the end little lines. I am of sound mind with a body of light. Come from my friend. It was just a mantra that she and I would say to ground ourselves, to reconnect with the divine. It's funny, so much of the music that I write, it really doesn't, it's not like I sit down to write a song. These little one-liners come through me. I'll jot them down on a notepad. I'll come back later and edit and realize I have a theme going on. And it really does feel like it is coming through me and not from me. I'm the vessel that the spirit out there, or what have you, chooses to send these words through, and I just recorded them and then happened to deliver them. So
excellent. And I think, that's so beautiful, because I think when you allow that to happen, it just creates such magical and beautiful music.
Sure. And what I mentioned earlier about fortunate accidents, again, serendipity, you can't plan this. Like, I could not sit down and write a song like that. It just happened, and I'm grateful for it, and now I have it. Sometimes I find that I have a difficult time committing things to memory unless they are finished. And then when the song or the words are in the right order, you can't help but remember them, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And so why do you think doing this music is such an important platform for you? I know maybe you mentioned earlier part of it may be activism.
Sure. So I don't know why this medium chose me, but I've always enjoyed words, and the power of connecting with people can be so powerful. Telling a story can be so powerful. You might not understand where someone's coming from, but then you get that story and suddenly you can relate, and it changes the paradigm. It changes what you thought about a whole culture. And so at the beginning, it was about taking this beautiful media, hip hop, rapping, that had gotten such a bad rap, and trying to use it for me personally to just be a good person, but to also share information with people who might not normally listen to hip hop, or people who might not normally talk about spirituality at a hip hop show. So for me, that was the motivating factor, was to connect these dots, to build these bridges so that different cultures might better understand each other. I used to organize a lot of different events. I ran a performance art collective called the Vibe Tribe in Kansas City, and the goal for me was to get as many different people in a room as possible from as many different walks of life, so that they could just all talk. The entertainment that was also there at the show, the musicians and artists and singers and painters or vendors who would come and set up, that was just an added bonus to me for all of these people getting to get to know each other. As far as activism goes, I come from a really interesting family where my grandfather was he still is a civil rights activist in Kansas City. So he spent much of his life, he's also a lawyer, and he spent a lot of his life helping the underdog, or helping people who would not normally have a voice get representation. So he was somebody I highly respect and have tried to follow in his footsteps. I'm paling in comparison, but I did just make a documentary last year. It's called The Hellraiser, and it is a story about his life, but also about how to be your own civil rights activist, how to navigate the system, how to sort of be your own lawyer. And that documentary is on YouTube. You can check that out if you look up The Hellraiser, and Sidney Willens is his name. it's on there to watch. It's about 40 minutes, and that's a work of art that I'm very proud of.
Excellent. Yeah, and we'll make sure to put the link for the YouTube video in the description. So, yeah, I think that music can be such a powerful message because everybody loves music. Like, I don't think I've ever heard anybody say that they don't like music. So I think it's a great platform, and especially for people who are doing activism things like you are. And would you say that activism for you is something that maybe gives your life purpose?
I think that it is foolish for me to not be trying to make a change. It is hard work. It's not something that I wake up every day and think, oh, goody, I'm going to this lobbyist training. Getting involved in politics was never something that I wanted for myself, but as I've grown, I've realized that it's more and more important. So I've been trying to move that direction. I'm also involved with this really great organization called Poetry for Personal Power. It's based out of Kansas City, but we are expanding. And the idea is that there is money within the healthcare system to address mental health and wellness. So a lady friend of mine who I know quite well has figured out a way to get some of that money through grant writing and give it to performance artists, poets, and musicians to be able to produce events that ideally create a safe space for people to address difficult things that are happening in their life. So doing open mics and poetry readings or even workshops with young people or people of all ages has become something that I have been involved with for 6 years now, working for them. And the idea is that we are using art and music to address mental health and wellness, so that though your life there might be something very difficult happening in it, instead of turning to medication and shock treatment or whatever maybe some of these outdated techniques are, it's addressing the problem head on, giving someone a peer specialist to talk to, creating a safe space again for people to discuss abuse or whatever else has been haunting them in their life. Mm-hmm. So the poetry scene has really become a place where anybody can get up, a grown man can get up and talk about something that would never be thought of that he would discuss, but it's okay. And it helps him and it helps the group to feel more connected. So that's a really wonderful project that I've been grateful to be a part of.
Yeah, that sounds so beautiful. And it is really important for people to have a space to talk about these things, because if we don't get to talk about it, we hold it in, and it just causes so much pain and suffering.
Definitely. It's a real hands-on approach for people to be addressing health and wellness, and we are expanding. We've got we're in Kansas and Missouri and Colorado, and always looking for other opportunities. Cool,
excellent. So, would you like to play another song for everybody?
Sure. How about Planting the Seed? That was one of the first songs I ever wrote. Okay. It's on my self-titled first album, MissConception.
Planting the Seed.
Yeah, thank you.
Definitely. All right, we're going to play Planting the Seed by MissConception, and we'll be right back.
So we're going to talk a little bit about planting the seed. From cannabis seeds to conscious seeds.
MissConception performed her slam poetry, I gazed around the room now full of people. There were people of different ages and races cheering her on and nodding their heads. And I realized the only misconception is 1809 trying.
It's about planting the seed, letting it grow. Nourish it, flourish it, give it grow, flow. Water it down till the relationship. Millions of years, keep it strong, erase their of fears. Don't you let no producer sell you that you can't. Just make sure you're careful which seeds you plant. So I'ma grow it, sow it, show it off. I'ma ever share it, prepare it, stop. I'ma shut it, cut it, shut it down. I'ma grow it, sow it, then I'll slow it down. For round 2. Yeah, what we can learn from a plant, it's just happy being watered with no roof, living proof on how to be a better daughter of Eve, son of Adam, brother of Saturn, lover of pattern, just another atom exploding into races our faces can't even fathom. Stuck inside this lucid dream meeting, smoke that shit up, think and spit about being a better human being. So I'ma grow it, sow it, show it up. I'ma air it, share it, prepare it, stop. I'ma start it, cut it, shut it down. I'ma grow it, sow it, then I'll slow it down. For round 3. Here we be. Set from peaches to stems, pollination is key to reproduction. A population, oh please, mass destruction. Not an optional cease, fast construction. A perennial life support trees, digging up forests. Forgetting less is more. This tree trunk turned porous due to flora fauna wars. So this means we gotta cut back stat on all this budding shit that makes our stigma go flat. Society's saying you paving nothing but crap, so you bring it all back to the fact that you're compact. Hey, how do you handle impact? Pray, is there enough time to react? A down to stem cell science tells us that opposites still attract. So I'm gonna grow it, sow it, show it off. I'ma air it, share it, prepare it, stop. I'ma start it, cut it, shut it down. I'ma grow it, sow it, then I'll slow it down. I'ma grow it, sow it, show it up. I'ma air it, share it, prepare it, stop. I'ma grip it, clip it, hip it off. I'ma set it, let it spread. Hip hop, hip hop, hip hop, hip hop, hip hop. So it's about planting the seed, letting it grow. Nourish it, flourish it, give it growth flow. Water it down till the root takes hold. From the leaves on the trees till the brain shakes old. Cultivate relationship, millions of years. Keep it strong, erase their of fears. Don't you let no producer sell you that you can't. Just make sure you're careful which seeds you plant.
I like that visual of kind of planting a seed in your mind and just allowing it to blossom. Ooh, one thing that just popped up into my mind, I don't know if you know anything about this, and might be kind of off topic, but I recently saw something about people disturbing Jewish burial sites. Have you heard anything about this?
It was in, I believe, St. Louis or somewhere in the Midwest, and it has been very, there's been a lot of talk of it in the community. I understand it was someone who was lashing out at their ex-girlfriend who happened to be Jewish, which was the intention of the person who committed the crime. But I work at a synagogue in Kansas City, and so I am always hearing about the latest threat that's been called in, and it happens quite often. It's really sad.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's I guess you don't expect if somebody's like doing something that like destructive is just because of a relationship. I don't know, just a disturbance in their relationship, or I guess people get so affected by their partnerships.
Mm-hmm. It's you can't plan this.
Exactly. Interesting. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Burning Man. I know how much you love Burning Man, and I see a lot of photos of you at Burning Man. And so tell us about your relationship with Burning Man.
Sure. So I've only been to Burning Man twice, but it is something that has absolutely blown my mind. People, there's a lot of stigma that comes with saying, "Oh, I went to Burning Man," but I explain it to people as if you were dropped onto another planet, and you are surrounded by the most highly creative beings you have ever experienced. And as an artist, it is the most amazing place I have ever been to. I do like camping, I like music, I like art, so it makes it a little bit easier, but it is a very rough environment if you know anything about Black Rock City. But it is a culture that has really caught my attention. You know, a lot of people think Burning Man just happens in Nevada, but it is become a worldwide phenomena.
Mm-hmm.
Burners, as they're called, or as we identify ourselves as, there are burns all over the world: South Africa, Israel, Spain, New Zealand, and there are communities of people all over the world who get together in the spirit of what it means to be a burner. So, you know, there are the 10 principles, of course, that we sort of use to govern just how to be a good person: leave no trace, radical self-expression, radical inclusion. No one's ever denied access to come to any of these things, but it has just become a really amazing group of people that I enjoy working with locally, as well as going to the Big Burn. It's sort of like a pilgrimage now in my mind. I hope to make it this year. But there's also a really great group called Burners Without Borders, which is sort of a more social action, on the ground group of people who it's not even really, it is organized, but it is people who just decide, you know what, we're going to go address this problem. There's trash in the river and we're going to go clean it up. And so anybody can really start a Burners Without Borders chapter. And that is an organization that I've been working with a little bit lately, volunteering with the flood disaster relief last year in Louisiana. There's a lot of work to be done down there still. And locally, just trying to get something off the ground where, you know, yes, Burning Man is a party and it is a really fun thing, but there's also a lot of work to be done, and there's a lot of great people involved in this who have some resources and the energy to go contribute to these challenges that need to be addressed. So I've been really excited about getting more involved with that, with all of that.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. And I haven't been to the one in Nevada, but I've been to a regional one in Michigan called Lakes of Fire. And
yes, I went last year.
Sweet. Yeah, that's a really good one. I really like that one a lot.
Yeah. Right now,
cool.
I'm planning to go back this year. That's an amazing event where the burn is around the lake.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And again, you can't plan creativity like this. Like
Yeah.
It just unfolds, and it's magic to me.
Definitely.
I'm sure you feel that.
Yes, definitely. It is. It's a lot like waking up in a dream. And one thing that I love so much is that there's no money involved while you're there. So all these grills or food or drinks or anything is just you go in and you get it, and that's it. And I think that's so cool. And I don't know. It's just nice. It's nice to be able to get stuff without having to use money.
Yeah, it is. It is a paradigm shift. It's a whole different world, and it's, I think setting an example of how. Yes, of course we need resources, but if you need an example of how to get along, you can take a look at this community of people. You've got people from all different places, all different colors and shades, speaking all different languages, coming together, not judging each other, there's no politics, there's no anger. It's just, this is what we're doing, and how do you want to contribute? How do you want to participate? Because there are no spectators.
Mm-hmm. Definitely a nexus of creativity, and definitely a game changer. So that's very cool. Did you want to introduce and kind of explain this next song that we're going to play?
Yeah, this is my favorite. So I started doing this thing when I was writing and started creating these songs where I would take a concept and poetically mash it up and remix it. So I've done this with a couple of different concepts, but this particular song is a tribute to the Beatles. My father was trying to understand what I was doing, what this poetry was, and I thought, okay, well, you like the Beatles, right? So I took all of the Beatles song titles and I wove them into this story, and then my friend made a beat. His name is Starsky, and I put it to this music, and this is an example of one of those poetic mashups. I hope you enjoy it. It's called Let It Beatles. Picture yourself in a boat on a river. Hey Jude, P.S.
I love you. Well, it was a day in the life back in the USSR. 8 days a week on a mystery tour. In an octopus's garden, I saw you standing there. The strawberry field stretched forever, I swear. Lucy was in the sky with her diamonds just the same, in the heart of the revolution, right out on Penny Lane. All come together for the benefit of Mr. Kite, twisting and shouting why it's a revolution. Number 9 complaining, you never give me your money, twisting and shouting abouting. Yeah, it got kind of funny when Sergeant Pepper, the director of the Heart Club band, with his lonely sleeve and silver hammer in hand, met Lady Madonna and the mean mustard man, who all came in through the bathroom window with Miss Polythene Pam. It was a classic hippie shake. The paperback writers, they all gave it a big break. They say, well, 8 days a week, it was helter-skelter. You were only sleeping when you arose from your golden slumber. Across the universe, all together we stood when you really got a hold on me good. I am the walrus, cuckoo-ca-choo. Baby, you could drive my car if you want to. Maybe it's you, but you had to hide your love away. You know I've got to get you into my life. That'll be the day we say, hey, darling. Hey, darling. I know you can't buy me love, but in the end, I still get by with a little help from my friends. We've come together again. We get by with a little help from our friends. Hey Jude, P.S. I love you. So do you want to know a secret? We could work it out. Good day, sunshine, don't let me down. You never give me your number, here comes the sun. I wanna hold your hand because all you need is love. I got a feeling or something, just please, please me. Your majesty, a tragedy, come on and let it be. Imagine yesterday is gone. Fly free, voila, life goes on, obla-di, obla-da. Here, there, and everywhere, don't you dare ask me why. Yes, I bought the ticket to ride, so hello, and goodbye. We've come together again. We get by with a little help from our friends. Hey Jude, P.S. I love you. We've come together again. We get by with a little help from our friends. Hey Jude. Yes, I love you.
That was Let It Beatles by MissConception. And we have her on call right now. Hello.
Hello. So good to be here.
Yes, good to have you. I'm very grateful that we have the ability to provide space for musicians to explain some of their music, because, you know, we do play a lot of music, and it's always nice to get, you know, the background of the person making the music.
Definitely.
Sweet. So we're coming to the end of we're coming to the end of the interview now, and I guess it would be a good time to ask about maybe any advice that you would have for any other musicians or poets that are looking to keep going.
Sure. I think the thing I would have liked to have been told myself is to not chase anything. Let it happen to you. It's kind of like that thought where there's a squiggly line in your eye, and the more you try and look at it, the more it moves away from you.
Mm-hmm.
I find that with art and creativity, the more I try and make it happen, the more it's like, nope, writer's block. But the more I just allow it to flow, I don't go seeking out interviews or performances even really that much, but people, when they come to me, I'm available, and I love what I do, and I just try and not tarnish that with trying to make a whole lot of money off of it. And of course, money would be great, but that's not why I started doing this, and that's not why art should be made. Art should be free and available to anybody. And I find that it does the most good. It comes with the most power when I just let it flow and be free. Mm-hmm. So that is the advice I would say to any artist or musicians, is to try and keep it as sacred as you can, and honor it, and don't ever force it.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And personally, I've had moments where, I tried to force a painting because I just like, I need to do this. So I tried to, even if I wasn't feeling it, and it didn't turn out that great. But yeah, I think we all kind of go through that, and it is important to let yourself not have to try and force something, and being okay if you're not in the mood to do something. So personally, like me, I haven't painted in a really long time, and sometimes I'm like, I'm trying to like beat myself up for not painting and not doing this, but I'm taking a break, and just I'm doing a lot of meditation recently, and I think that's really helping, just kind of being okay with everything, and that that creativity I believe will come back. So I validate and second and agree with your advice on letting it flow.
Yeah, just got to be gentle with yourself.
Mm-hmm, definitely. So where can people find more information about you and what you do?
Yeah, my website is themissconception.com. That's THEMISS, 2 S's, conception.com. I'm on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, but really, if you go to that website, you can get the links to all of those things. And I'm always open to co-creation. If you have an event that you need an MC for, or want to do something digitally, remotely, I love working with other people and working on projects that matter. So if you've got something coming up, think of me.
Perfect.
I'm also a fire dancer on the side, so you get 2 for the price of 1.
Definitely, yeah. That's not something we got to get into a whole lot, but I definitely see you doing a lot of flow arting, and that's something that is such a great addition to any kind of event. When you have people spinning either fire or LED or whatever, it's such a cool and super visually stimulating experience.
Sure. And I found a long time ago that creativity and flow is flow, and it doesn't matter what genre it's coming out as. Feeling that connection fills you up no matter what the media is. So, yeah.
Perfect. And so
gotta love being an artist.
People can find out how to contact you through your website, themissconception.com?
Yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here and being on the show and telling us all about your music. It's been something I really appreciated and enjoyed.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. You guys are doing such great work.
Definitely. There's actually one more thing that if you could do, I would appreciate it. Could you please say, this is MissConception, and you are listening to Bring Me to Life Radio?
Sure. Yeah, this is MissConception, and you are listening to Bring Me to Life Radio.
Sweet. Thank you. And I've been trying to get every musician to do that. It's just a good thing to play in between all the music.
Yeah. Yeah, and this last song that you're about to play, can I intro it?
Definitely, yes, please
do. You mind? I told you guys earlier that I can be silly, we can be spiritual, and this is a little bit more of a sensual track. But I wanted to dedicate it to my lovely boyfriend, Kiwi, Michael, who is on his way to me from Chicago right now. But the song is called Dear Soulmate, and it's about finding that one person. So.
Your face, it looks familiar, a rarity. So dear soulmate, call me crazy, but I want to make love to you on a stage. Let him watch, feel the rage and praise. Mouths drop past that hot spot as we disengage. Be not afraid, I want to be your slave. Ravish your conclave, make our hearts brave. Kiss your skin, from your toes to your chin, and around the backside again is where we begin to explore sin. Original as her and him. This is gonna be one hell of an expression. All natural selection of freaks. I wanna hear your tongue speak all up and down my mind in heat. Spines aligned, knocking knees. Chakras breathing closer to the divine. Yes, please. Take me. Slower, one tiny nibble at a time, counting like Dracula. I'm gonna eat your neck alive, writing lyrics with my tongue. I wanna dig deeper than skin deep's been dug. Coming slowly to our senses, we be unfolding, breaking down all defenses. Next thing you know, hold the ring, since I only need your time. Commencement, I'm sold. Bring it on, this bold fling. Swing. Thank God I've been holding out for the real thing. Signed, oh so sincerely, MissConceptualizing. P.S. One more thing. Whatever you do, please don't forget me.